Welcome folks, this is Wear and Tear, yet another YouTube outdoor and gear review channel. Today it is day 6654 of the quarantine and apocalypse, at least it feels that way. But I was daring enough to go outdoors. There's no one around me. It's very safe. The virus is constantly killed by ultraviolet radiation, so I feel fine. And I'm not in violation of any quarantine laws as far as I know, but they keep changing. So today I take out my cold steels. The one is the Cold Steel Voyager extra large as a chopper, but it also does great at finer work. And my new Rajah 3, Cold Steel Rajah 3. I kept missing this knife for years. I was always looking at it, or sometimes I was looking at it and I thought, man, that blade shape is really odd. Is that a reasonable knife, or is it just some kind of Rambo knife for, you know, for those knife posers? But I'm not a knife poser, although I'm posing with a knife, ironically. So is this knife any good, or is it just something that belongs more in the movie prop department? Got the Rajah 3 in AUS10 steel. There is a version in AUS8, the older version, and then there is a version I think in CTS BD1 steel. So this is the latest version that they have. It's a very grippy, very ergonomic handle. It has the classical triad lock, and after putting it through a lot of moderate and even hard use, I can say it's a super tough, super reliable knife, just as we are used from Cold Steel. I really like the thumb plate, so you can wave open that thing. So, but just if the thumb plate catches your pants, and then you open it with the motion, you pull it out of your pants, and you can wave the knife open. That doesn't work super well because the clip is very tight. If this is clipped into your pants, then you have a very hard time of getting this knife out. This is like a, I don't know, it's super coarse surface, and then the clip is super tight, and getting this knife out of a pants is not so easy. I might have to modify the knife a little bit in this department. But on the other hand, of course, you can't lose the knife. This clip really holds it, but you really need to dedicate some force to pull it out of your pants and then wave it open. This is not something that comes easily. It comes very easy with this, with my wave mod, but it's a very different knife, a much heavier blade. The waves open very easily. But also the traditional way of opening this knife is so butter smooth, it's so beautiful. It's after all that work that I did with the knife is still butter smooth. It runs on washers, like any hard use knife should run on washers in my opinion. There is no room for ball bearings when you seriously get to town with a knife. I don't like ball bearings outdoors. It's more indoor knife if it has ball bearings, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, in the ergonomics department, this knife is very much dependent on your palm size. That is a very large knife. This is to me a medium knife. I mean, for many people this might be a large knife, but the ergonomics is excellent. For me it could be a little bit bigger, but overall when working with the knife I found out that it is very versatile. It knows so many different positions. Like you can take it like this, do super fine motions, super fine carving. You can really sneak up to the blade. You can basically caress it with your hand. You will always find a comfortable spot to work. And now this is a very exotic blade shape, at least in my book. I think it's something inspired by, Indian culture, Indian knives. At least the name Rajah would indicate that. Didn't do my research on it. But those people knew why they use certain knife shapes. And this knife shape, this blade shape is like very comfortable to do wood carvings. I mean, if you get rid of the bark, if you want to get rid of a lot of bark very quickly, you use this area. Yeah. If you need to apply more force, you use this area. I found it incredibly safe to work, incredibly comfortable to work. At first I thought, man, this knife is a little bit too small for my hands, but then I found so many grip positions. I can work for hours with this knife without gloves, and there are no hot spots at all. I always change the grip position, of course. This is not even the typical grip position that I would use. I literally would most of the time use something like this, really sneak up to the blade as close as I can. So you find very efficient ways to do work with this knife. This is not a combat knife. This is not a ninja whatever knife. This is actually a super capable work and outdoors knife. Yeah. It looks like a chopper, but of course for being a real chopper it's too light. But of course the blade shape lends itself to light chopping. I found it super easy to resharpen. It's AUS10 steel. You just need a Victorinox or Lansky sharpener and you can field sharpen it to, not exactly razor shape, but a reasonable sharpness for a work knife. So very much paper cutting sharp. It came out of the box, it came incredibly sharp. I've not managed to get it back to that same kind of sharpness. I guess a straight edge is just easier to sharpen than a curved edge like this, and this might be the only downside for some of you potential knife buyers. Now, there are a few negative aspects about this knife. I wish Cold Steel will rethink the clip. It's too tight, it's not comfortable on the pants. That diminishes the user experience. Although I know it's safety first, if that is the philosophy, I get it, it makes sense. So super sturdy clip, maybe a little bit unfriendly to your pants in the long run. In here there are some slightly sharp edges. They're not really uncomfortable because I didn't get a problem after using it for hours, but it's something, an additional round of machining would get rid of that, and it would just add to the overall perfection of the knife. And this knife is very well made in its fit and finish. So I can confidently say that this is a wonderful knife. I compare it to my Counterpoint 1, which is a little bit bigger, but straight edge, it's a little bit more stabby type. But this knife is not stabby at all. I prefer this knife for work over the Counterpoint 1. But the Counterpoint 1 is a bit lighter than this. This might be a plus for everyday carrying. And a bit larger, a bit longer. But definitely the Rajah 3, it's not a movie prop, it is an actual work knife, and if you are interested in more exotic knife shapes, you can't go wrong with this one. This is